They say you can't choose your family or your neighbours. I'll leave family for another week, but if I could, I'd happily choose the neighbours we've got. Most of them anyway. I'm not so sure about Walter. He never sits still and he's always doing jobs, often for other people. He just makes me look bad. Anyway, one of the many things I love about our neighbours is that whenever there is the slightest opportunity, we'll have a street party. So at the weekend, using a random array of tables, various gazebos and a gathering of barbecues, we marked the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe. I'm not sure what the collective noun for barbecues is, but we'll stick with gathering. In amongst the merriment, I was mindful of a conversation I'd heard recently. It was during a phone-in on the radio, and the caller was an 85-year-old lady who recalled her memories of the war and of VE Day itself. And she had a good memory. Jeanette recounted stories of her dad, an air raid warden, digging his friends and neighbours out of the rubble. She remembered the door to the air raid shelter opening as others joined, often goose-stepping and Heil Hitlering as they entered, their resilience fuelled by stubborn and relentless humour. She spoke of how things were tougher but better. She suggested that people were nicer and kinder to one another. She said there was more sense of community back then. And she worried that as a country and as a society, we've lost such things. And I wanted to say, not in Smith Drive, we haven't. I reckon Jeanette would have loved the street party. Friends and neighbours getting together to celebrating a hugely significant moment of history, but also celebrating the gift of friendship and community. And it is a gift, and like peace itself can't and shouldn't be taken for granted. The reality is we don't get to choose our neighbours, but we do get to choose how we neighbour. Of course, life and how we live it is all about choices. War is a choice, peace is a choice. Talking to our neighbours, ignoring our neighbours, having a street party, not having a street party. All choices, some easier than others, but easy is rarely better. Jesus told a shockingly provocative story all about choices and how to live well. It's a story that radically redefined and expanded the idea of who our neighbours are and how we should neighbour. The story of the Good Samaritan is still worth a read. If you remember the adverts, I reckon if Carlsberg did street parties, it would look a lot like ours. And just to be clear, if Carlsberg made neighbours, they'd definitely make Walter.